Good morning, everybody. I'm back on the 64 Impala project. Today what I want to get done is epoxy primer the bottom of this rear pan. At this moment I've got it cleaned with wax and grease remover. The system I bought for the epoxy primer and activator and all that tells you to clean it once with the waterborne wax and grease remover and clean it with that, which smells like rubbing alcohol to me, and then you take another wax and grease remover and go over it with that, and then it tells you to let it set for 30 minutes, and then in the meantime you mix up the epoxy primer, which I'm getting ready to do that. So let me clean up my table bench over here, which is a mess, and I'll mix up some epoxy primer and get ready to shoot the bottom of this pan. It's probably more waste of time and money, but right here is where the bottom of the brace is, and this pan is already considered a weld-through primer, and it's supposed to provide some rust protection. And also when you're welding between the two steels, it's already got a weld-through primer. But since I'm doing it myself, I'd like to get epoxy under this brace just for extra protection. And I was just going to spray under this area like I did the other pan, and then when I put it on the rotisserie I was going to spray the whole thing. But since this thing's small enough, I didn't want to mix go ahead and mix up enough epoxy just to spray the whole thing. And then anyway, when I put it on the rotisserie and turn the car over, I'll respray the whole bottom underneath and with epoxy primer, and possibly with some undercoating of some sort. I don't know yet what kind. But anyways, I'll be back here in just a few minutes and mix up some epoxy and get ready to spray this thing. Okay, I'm back. We're fixing to mix up some little epoxy here, epoxy primer. What I do is I just mix up my epoxy primer. I'll stir it here in the can. This is an epoxy primer that I found online. It's called Southern Polyurethanes, SPI. Seems to cover pretty good. I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional at doing this. I'm just a regular guy who likes to get it done. So anyway, take a little bit of this. I'm going to mix. This is a 1-to-1 system, so I'm going to mix up 1-to-1 on this. After doing some research on it, it seemed like a pretty good product. Some good reviews on some of the websites like Hot Rod magazine or website on there. A lot of people say it's good, some people don't like it, but I'm not building a show quality car here. I'm just, you know, even though it is a frame off restoration, I want to do good work. But I also don't want to spend a lot of money on materials. Paint, you know, I want it to come out good, but this is just some lacquer thinner to get that clean. Let it sit there. Anyway, I've got that where I want it, so now I'll mix up another one part of this activator. Get the thing open here. Higher. 1, 2. It looks good right there. After you get that in there, then you gotta stir this epoxy primer, and then it says on there you gotta let it set for 30 minutes. Let it induce for 30 minutes. Supposedly that's very important. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but I do read instructions. So just mix that up there. Alright, well, while I stir this and let it set for about 30 minutes, I'm going to get my spray gun ready, and so I can get ready to spray that. So I'll put this on pause for a few minutes and get ready while that sits for 30 minutes. Hey everybody, I'm back. This epoxy primer's been setting for about 35 minutes or so. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my paint gun, and I'm going to shoot that bottom of that pan. I'm not going to video that because I just bought me a brand new HD camcorder and I don't want overspray on that. I'm sure I can figure out a way how to put it somewhere and video it, but anyway, I'll come back when it's painted and show you the results. Thank you. Alright, I'm done spraying the epoxy on the bottom of this rear pan, and that's how it turned out. Didn't come out too bad. And when I install it and eventually put the car on the rotisserie and turn it upside down, I'll be spraying it again anyway, and like I said earlier, putting some type of undercoating over that, help it protect some more. But turned out real good. So now I'm gonna get back to working on it. Working on this trunk. I've got to get this trunk off here. This tail light panel, that's fixing to come off. And I'm gonna start working on this tail panel here. That's coming off also. And hopefully get the trunk out. I don't think I'll be able to get it all today. Got some stuff to do later, but fixing to get to working on that. So till next time, I'll be signing off, and hopefully when I make another video, maybe I'll have all this trunk back on, and all this welded back up, and the wheelhouse. Still working on that. Alright, till next time, we'll sign off.